all you want. I'm cool with it. All
Uh,
right.
yeah,
Welcome
but
to the.
I can't see you. That's my problem. Here we go. All right.
Okay, you can see me now.
Yeah, I can see you now. I can hear you now.
I'm just a
Oof.
pretty face, Scott. I'm more than a
I
pretty
know.
face.
I
Okay,
know.
okay.
I know.
Welcome, one and all, to the Off the Rails Sports Podcast. I'm here with Scott. I'm John. And if you could hit that like and subscribe button, I always forget that. And it looks like Scott, one of my best friends from the PNW, is rocking the OSU. OSU? Whoa. Uh,
OSU.
OSU.
OSU. Oregon State, not Oklahoma. Okay.
Oh, I didn't know the color. Actually, it's funny. The color scheme is similar.
It
I didn't even
is.
realize that. Yeah, right. Mike Gundy in Oklahoma State. Yeah, they rock the
Yeah.
same colors.
Yeah.
You think they would
Yeah.
have figured that out after a couple of years?
I mean, maybe there was only like three or four colors to choose from, I guess, back then. I
Yeah,
don't
there
know.
really is. It
Yeah,
wasn't.
they,
It wasn't like going to the paint department at Lowe's now with six
yeah.
million.
Yeah, what is the Dodgers paint color number anyways? Is it like 893 or something like that?
I don't
Sorry.
know.
Sorry. I thought you were a Dodger fan after hearing about all this
Ah,
stuff. Now, you and Brian claim that you're big Boston fans.
yes, we do.
I can believe him, but the hat is always the blue hat. Like, where's the Boston hat?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
He's much more demonstrative about the team. It's like I've said, there's two types of Boston fans. There's the ones in the cell at Arkham Asylum, and they're
Yeah.
the ones who just got paroled but are heavily medicated who should be back in the cell. I'm that guy.
Yeah.
Brian's still in the cell. He's still a
Yeah.
believer, and I'm like, yeah, okay. I'll believe it when I see it. I know,
Hey.
he's
Uh,
the sky is falling every day. I think the sky is going to fall every other day. That's
right.
really the difference between us. Okay.
Right.
Right. Oh,
I
God
I
bless.
remember I remember throwing down on you something fierce
Hmm.
when the Yankees put the beat down on you, and I said, "Hey, it's a long series. You guys are gonna come back." And I was sitting there just chuckling away, just laughing my head off. And then the miracle happened.
Well,
The miracle.
the miracle happened. Okay, let's talk about that for a second. The miracle happened in 2004, but in 2003, we got to extra innings at the end of the series against the Yankees, and Boone hits the home run to send us home. And I remember sitting there going, why did I pick this team? They just
Yeah.
break my heart every year. And then the next year, we actually have a really, really solid team, and we go down 3-0. And I remember seeing Kevin Millar throwing the ball around and going, all we got to do is win tonight. And then we got Pedro, and then we got Kurt, and then game 7. And I was like, man, I want what this dude's drinking. And he was
Right.
right. He was
Right.
right.
He was. He
You
was
know?
so right that Hollywood had to stop their filming for Drew Barrymore to refilm the finishing of her movie, right? Didn't they film
Okay.
the movie at the very end of that?
Yeah.
She rushed
With
out.
Jimmy Fallon, whatever
Yeah.
that was. Yeah. He's the Boston
Yeah.
guy.
Hey,
I
I'm
don't
trying to
watch Drew
come.
Barrymore movies. Okay.
Hey,
I'm trying to keep my quote. I literally saw 50 First Dates. That was enough.
okay.
Okay. That was
Okay.
enough.
Hey, I'm just trying to connect all the dots for everything you cover. This man covers political, he covers movies in a movie theater, he covers baseball, and then what I'm here for, hockey and
You
racing
know what,
and
Scott?
whatever
You can go
else.
wherever you want, buddy. You can go wherever you
Hey,
want.
hey, I'm just trying to catch up to the speed that you're going, man. You are at it.
Hey,
Hey,
it's that I took the Elon Musk ketamine kit, and it's really helping a lot. Even though they're pushing him out of the White House very quickly after that Wisconsin thing, hey, he was going to go anyway. Yeah, sure he was.
yeah, wink, wink,
Wink,
wink,
wink,
wink,
right?
wink. Yeah,
Oh man, okay.
good
So
times, good times.
we've got the sniper here, the man who's dialed in on motorsports. The bad boys of NASCAR, they're heading to Darlington. What you got to say, Scott?
The Lady in Black, the Lady in Black. We're going to hear about the wall. We're going to hear how this is a throwback race. We're going to see some great paint schemes. We're going to see the Tony the Tiger, Terry Labonte car out there, one of many cars, but it's not going to have Tony the Tiger on there because Kellogg's don't have no money, I guess,
Right,
to
right.
overpower Hendrick. I'm still curious about that. Kyle Larson, right? one of the greatest drivers we've ever watched, and we were talking about this last podcast about he can drive anything, right?
Right.
And he's this great driver, right? He's back after his mistake that he said verbally about what he said on a video
Right.
game that people were
He
listening
he
to.
he said something inappropriate during a video game, and in this world everything gets recorded, and he was sanctioned and chastised by NASCAR. He served his penalty. Everybody deserves a second chance. Let's go.
What 1 year away from NASCAR, went and dominated the dirt series everywhere. He won like 98% of the races he showed up to, right?
Right.
Why is Hendrick Motorsports car sales still just on his car? Why can't they bring another sponsor in that guy? You know they got sponsors, or does Hendrick just have that much money? Because he's sponsoring stuff everywhere. It's crazy. You know,
I
that guy was selling cars almost on the verge of losing everything until he won at Martinsville. And then
right.
all of a sudden, he's one of the dominant names. He took out RCR. He took out Petty Motorsports, which is now Legends. You know, it's like he's one of the dominant figures. He has Jeff Gordon manning it now. You know, you barely see him anymore. You know, the guy. You know,
Right.
he's an older gentleman. I mean, you don't even see Roush at the races anymore.
Right.
You know,
Right.
it's
Right.
crazy. Yeah, it's just
I
something I always think about.
well, I think you're onto something, Scott, and that's why I love talking to you. Rick Hendrick is a brilliant businessman. Okay. He is. But let us talk about the difference between him and Penske. There's different levels of businessmen, right? And
Absolutely.
how did Joey Logano get the Shell cover? Because Penske leasing cut a deal with Shell. There was a you rub my back, I rub yours. I think that Rick Hendrick is a great owner. He is a great team owner, but he doesn't have that kind of pull into the corporate world. I mean, look, the guy's a multimillionaire many times over, right? But Penske has a bigger draw, a bigger thing where he can pull in bigger sponsors. And I'm sure Rick Hendrick is saying, I don't want somebody on my hood for 100 grand because it's going to diminish what I get on the other hoods. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
Okay, but he also owns four cars. Ally
Yeah, absolutely.
is all over a car.
Yeah.
Napa is all over. Hooters was all over. Then all of a sudden they left, and now they're dumping
Well, they're
like
in bankruptcy. Yes.
yeah. I
Okay.
think they're dropping $750,000 for leaving early, and then Coke picked
Okay.
up their sponsorship. You know, and then you have DuPont, which is now Exalta or whatever. They've
Yeah.
never left the 24. I mean, there has to be a big sponsor out there. I mean, Denny Hamlin lost FedEx, and now he has Progressive, and then some tire shop,
I mean, really,
whatever.
the biggest hood out there is probably Shell, right? I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
just from my perspective, right?
yeah.
We've seen M&M's leave Kyle Busch, who you can't fault that guy's driving, right? Lowe's left Jimmy. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know if maybe corporate America is pulling back on that kind of advertising or whatever. It doesn't seem like it's affecting F1, but that's a whole different ecosystem. They have the whole world. NASCAR basically just has America, right?
Right, right,
It does
right.
seem like there's a pullback on the corporate sponsorship that NASCAR gets.
Yeah, I mean, I can go down the list of some other drivers, but Larson is up there all day long. You're gonna get plenty of TV time. You know,
Sure.
you're gonna get your name out there a lot. I mean, unless he's making a lot of money selling those used cars off of his, you
Yeah,
know.
but it's kind of I think we talk about and I think you astutely picked this up the last podcast we talked about this was Dodge has been rumored to come back to NASCAR, but they still haven't made the push. And
Right.
Cadillac could come into the series, but they made their decision to go to F1, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah. But Cadillac, I mean, NASCAR did have Pontiac and Chevy both GM cars. I don't think they'll go back to that. I could be wrong though. It would be nice to see a big name like that
it would be.
on a GM car, you know, instead of knowing some RX or DX, whatever car it is. I still don't know. You know, the
Right.
symbolism of race win on Sunday, sell on Monday is lost in NASCAR, I believe.
Yeah.
That's my point of view. I
Yeah,
can't go
I
into
agree.
I can't go to the Chevy dealer and buy that car. It doesn't look anything close to it.
Well,
The
they all look
Camry
the
doesn't.
same. They all
Yeah,
look the same.
yeah, and they put Camry all over it and it doesn't look like a Camry.
No, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
they might as well put T-Bird on it because
yeah.
literally, I mean, it doesn't look anything like a car you and I could buy, and all three of the manufacturers have the same looking car. It
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
they made it out of your son's 3D printer. I
Yeah,
mean, really,
yeah,
that's what they did.
yeah,
They say make a NASCAR, and they go, okay, we're going to put Toyota on this hood, we're going to put Ford, we're going to put
yeah,
Chevy. Good luck.
yeah. And we're gonna show the front of the car that somewhat what looks like the grill that you would be buying of a Chevy, Toyota,
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah.
exactly.
Hey, you know, the 5 million subscribers that we have not yet got to
Yes, we're a little short, a little short.
are desperately typing in T-Bird to understand what you're saying. And I hope it ain't the song or the band. It's actually
Yes,
the car that was.
fabulous Thunderbirds. Yes, exactly. And you know what? I got to say, I am a Ford fan all day and twice on Sunday, but GM, Chevy, whatever you want to call it, did such a great job of reconstructing the Corvette. Ford has taken multiple swings at the T-Bird and they have effed it up. Ford, let me give you some advice. Go back to the 1955 Thunderbird, make that, roll it out. Let's see where we go. Let's
Yeah,
just see
true,
how it goes. But
true, it's true.
because
I mean,
the Corvette is fantastic.
it is. They got away from that front engine and they went to the mid engine. They finally
Yep.
got away from that, and
Yep.
that I don't know if that's a McLaren or Ferrari that's coming by until I see the symbol, though. I mean, that thing.
Amen.
But
Amen.
I can't drive that fast. But unless you're in LA
What?
traffic, unless you're in LA traffic.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of speeding going on there. Okay. So let's talk about Darlington. What's your
Yes.
general observation about the race itself?
The race itself is going to be a lot of comings or goers. This is going to eat up the tires big time. We're going to see who can save their tires, who's going to make the
Hmm.
run, who's going to, wait, let the people run out and be rabbits and laugh at them and let them come back, because that will happen. Denny Hamlin is going to thrive at this track again.
Okay.
He has a certain line and he laughs because he's like, yeah, you guys can see my mapping, but you don't know what I'm feeling. You
Right.
know, when they put a fuel load in the car and it's weighted down, he knows how to go in there and just slowly scrub his speed off and then pick up. And then as the fuel load goes down and the car lightens up and it raises up, he knows how far more deeper to go in. Kyle Larson's going to be rubbing and scraping against that wall just like he did at Homestead. Tyler
Right.
Reddick will be up there too. You're not going to see too many people on the bottom list or getting past. You know, um, on that note, it could be a sleeper and Denny Hamlin could take off.
Sure.
But I'm looking at Busher and I'm also looking at Eric Jones.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. You know what? That's why you got to come back to this podcast because Scott is giving you names nobody else is going to give. Give us a little insight why you like those two.
Well, Eric Jones has won here a few times, and I think he can steal this race if he's patient enough and he doesn't have issues on the pit road. I sound like I'm on Fox right now. Hold
Yeah,
on.
you do. Yeah,
Hold
okay,
on. Getting
exactly.
some more. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
DW.
Okay. Okay.
Touche. Well played.
Hitting all the check marks. You
Yep.
know, but this is a track that that he thrives on. He does know how to drive here really well. He's always showed up here strong. There's these 20th to 30th drivers have 4 or 5 tracks that they dominate and
Yeah.
don't dominate, but they show up.
Right.
And this is why I was on Bubba Wallace bandwagon for a couple races because he was in that mix right now.
And you hit it. And you
Yeah.
hit it. Yep. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah. So I think Eric Jones is there. Bouchard, I think he's going to show up. The 17 car. I think he's going to be Priest. He's part of Priest's fan club. I think Priest is going to fall down now. I think they're going to say, "Oh, he was there and now he's gone." Um, that guy just wheels it. He grabs that wheel and can wheel the wheel
Mm-hmm.
that car up to the front. I think those are the two, cars. Logano and Blaney though. I really think they're just like fishing for marlin. I really think that's what Penske does now. Is they just let everybody run out and they just let the laugh, and they just wait to the end of the season, and then they just open everything up and take off. They'll get their 1 or 2 wins to get them locked in the chase.
Yep.
I'm not Mark Martin that's saying a win shouldn't get you in the chase. He's the guy hasn't been heard from forever. You know, they
Yeah, I know.
dusted him
Now all of a
off.
sudden he's popping up on the radar. I'm
Well,
glad to see he's still alive. Okay, that's
well,
all I'm gonna say.
all I gotta say is he must have listened to our podcast. He must have liked and subscribed.
Yes.
And then he
God.
said, "Hey, these boys are talking about this. I need to get out there and be something." But he didn't say off the rails sports
I
podcast.
know he didn't. That damn
Uh,
bastard.
I
That damn
know, I
bastard.
know.
Yeah, I love him.
I'll,
Love him.
I know. We're gonna have to make sure we get him paid off next time.
So yeah, exactly. I don't know if I could. I maybe my crypto will come in and I can pay him off. I don't know. So Chris Busher is at 22-1. Eric Jones, and man, don't ever say Scott takes the chalk. Eric Jones is at 50-1 to win the race. So I'm gonna make a couple comments here. Um, Larson is the heavy favorite at plus 450. This guy is a wheel man, like Scott talked about. He actually got fitted for his Indy driver's wheel or steering wheel this week. Um, it's all about tires. I will say this, that Reddick is the second choice, and he is solid here, but he never wins. I mean, at
Yep.
some point, you got to put it in there. The two
Yep.
guys I really enjoy, I like, are William Byron. In his
That's
last
strong.
9 races there, he's been inside the top 8, 6 of those races. And this is my long shot, Chase Briscoe. Now, last year, they have 2 races, and make sure that there is a big difference between the spring race and the fall race, okay? Especially when it comes to tires. Last year, he started 13th in the spring race, finished 5th. Fall, he started 3rd, led 29 laps, and ended up with the win. Now, I know the fall race isn't the spring race, but I'm talking about Chase Briscoe for a top 5. That's
Okay.
what I'm taking. I'm
All
taking
right.
William Byron to win. I'm not taking no chalk. Who are you picking to win, Scott?
I mean, I already said it's gonna be a sleeper. If it does show up, Denny Hamlin and Eric
Okay.
Jones would be my 2 picks for sure.
Okay. I like that. I like that. Eric Jones for a top 10 for Scott
Yep.
and Denny
Yep.
Hamlin at 700. All right. We're going to do a little pivot. Let's go to the F1. The bad boys, the real bad boys of auto racing, are heading into Japan after the taking a week off and coming out of China. You got any general observations?
I mean, McLaren's just stout right now, right? I mean,
Right.
they're just stout. Like I mean, you're talking about, do we just stay on the chalk on them, But um, I think we're gonna see some ex-girlfriend envy though. Mercedes might be up there still in one.
It might. You
I
know,
think so. I think Ferrari still has their issues. I think they still got their pit road right. Verstappen, you know, maybe he's enough and he goes for the win. He's gonna go for it possibly. I mean, he's been there, but he hasn't been there, right?
yeah,
McLaren's just super fast. They got the best car. They started showing that end of last year, and they're still going. Like, I don't,
right.
who's the number one driver there? That's the other question.
Yeah, that's a real you got Lando Norris and you got Piastri. Um, you know, I didn't set this up very well for you, and I apologize. The biggest thing we're seeing, especially at Red Bull, is Liam Lawson got sent down to the B team. They brought in Sanuki, or I know I'm butchering the name. Forgive me, okay? I'm not very well versed in that, but and Scott told me I'm going to give Scott total credit for this. He's always kind and generous with the podcast. Is that Red Bull has the fastest cars, but they're the most technically complex, and but they have terrible balance. And Verstappen has figured that out. Liam Lawson, unfortunately, had the same problem Sergio Perez did, and he couldn't figure that out. And you were telling me something about the fuel, Scott. Could you elaborate on that?
So when you fill your car up, and it doesn't matter in your car, it's not that technical, but when you put a fuel load in, you're adding a bunch of weight, right? So you're
Right,
squishing the car down, and they're keeping the car down to a low balance point so they can stay airtight and race, right? But as you
right,
go into turns, it's moving your car around in a certain manner that you can't hug the turn as fast as they want, and it changes your braking point. So Verstappen has learned how he wants his car and adjusts as they're going. Yeah. And F1, they have so many gadgets and gizmos on that. that they adjust the ride height and everything. But still, when you go in, when you're racing up the hills or down the hills and you think you're an F1 driver and you feel your car pushing, their car is actually designed for the rear tire to go in, right? And if the
Right.
fuel load is swishing around, which they have a bag in there, and sorry for going crazy about
No, I
back and
like it.
forth,
I like it. Let's
but
go.
the fuel loads, they actually have a bag that seals it up tight, so it's not really, it's not like a big wave moving around,
Right, right,
but it
right.
does move enough that it does change their lineup. And the way that he wants his car driven is to be pulled out of air so that the person behind him can't get that draft and
Ah,
get
okay.
that suck in and pull him, right? So he's figured out and has his car set up so drastically loose that his back tire is going in that he's able to move in and get out. His
Ah,
exit speed is so quick. And then if you get a different driver that wants the front end to be the part of the car that is turning and pushing and then going that way instead of your rear tires and sliding it out like drifting, then that driver will never excel in it. That's
right,
why in NASCAR, every setup is totally different for every driver because
right,
do
right,
you drive on your right rear? Do you drive on your front? You know, but when you have Verstappen, that's the title winner that over and over wins races and is up front. Do you venture off of what that is, or do you just come in knowing this is the package, make the other driver drive his way?
right,
Yeah.
right,
Liam had 7 months off from driving a car, waiting for one of the Red Bull teams to call him up,
right,
you know, and he gets told, here's Verstappen, we're at the track, here's the blue suit. He's gonna go make like 5 or 10 hot laps, and
right.
then we're gonna expect you to be as fast as him.
Yeah,
Yeah. That how much stress can that be? I mean, to be like within you're on ice, and all of a sudden you're getting thrown in the oven and being expected to cook. That doesn't happen.
yeah.
Luckily, he was in 6/10 or 5/10, and they said, "Okay, that's close enough,"
It's
because
close
they
enough. We
they
can
look,
work with it.
yeah. So if Verstappen wins and Liam came in fifth or sixth, they're looking at, okay, we got enough points that
Right,
we're going to beat McLaren
right.
because they want that title. They want the
Yeah,
champion of the driver and they want the manufacturer's title. That's what they're looking for. That's
yeah.
all the number two driver is looking for in
Right,
Red Bull.
right,
Are we
right.
going to see a revolving door where they're just bringing in the B drivers from
They're not
RB2
giving
or
him
whatever?
much time. They're not giving him much time.
Well, yeah. And then you hear the rumors about how much money Japan supposedly throw down for Yuki to be there.
Yep. Yep.
You
Yep.
know?
I've read those rumors. So I'm going to write down here gizmos and gadgets. I'll get back to you on the next podcast. So
Yeah.
who's your pick? I'm going to pick Lando Norris. He seems to
Yeah.
be the guy. Piastri or Lando Norris seems to be the picks. There is a turn. I was watching the track. There is now. This is what goes on in F1. There's a straightaway where they're going 180 miles an hour and they hit a right hand turn. Like, wow. And I
Yeah.
saw it. I was like, oh my God. And that's not even one of the more diabolical turns on the F-Work circuit. It is for this course, but
Right.
I was like, how does a human being go 180 miles an hour and go, okay, Clyde, exit stage right? Like, oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah, and just think that if you're in the front and you're doing 180 and the VR or whatever it's called
Right,
kicks in, this guy's doing 190, 195 to pass him and
right,
then make the turn,
right,
you know? So just think if you had that added weight in your car and you don't judge that right, or all of a sudden you lost that weight and that
right.
changes your whole braking point because it's all about their braking point of where they're going to spot to hit the brakes. And
Exactly.
and as it gets lighter, Verstappen can get in deeper and deeper and deeper, you know. Or
Yes,
he hits the same spot i- as he's going into the turn, but he's just not pressing the brake as hard until he gets in a little deeper and then he starts braking. Because it
right.
is rhythm, so they have to have the same spot that they're always hitting. It is amazing to watch.
Braking zone, braking zone.
Yeah, they
Yes,
they show it in NASCAR about how the pedal work is, but they don't cover about, hey, he's at this marker that says 3, 2, 1, or they have the cones
right,
out.
right,
That is where he's starting to press the brake, but how much pressure is he pushing on the brake to actually get the car to turn or slow down for him to not miss
right,
the turn? You know,
right.
and that that is extremely, extremely hard. If you can ever go to a K1 race, and that's a battery, you know, where you get to act like you're a little race car driver,
Hmm.
they have them all over the place, indoor
Right.
racing, you'll see how hard your arms get pumped up and how, you know, rhythmic you have to be with that. Unless you're like Jay and it's all gas all the time.
It's hey, American Gas, okay? In
Yes.
memory of our good friend Eric Walton, man. Let's go. And Billy,
Yeah.
American horsepower. All right? That's
Yeah.
what I
Let's
want, all
go.
right?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna make a real quick we're gonna finish up the podcast here. Scott's been incredible like usual. Let's talk about the women's final four, and I'm gonna do this as a shout out to your beautiful daughter. She wanted a little women's final four. We got two we got three number ones and a number two. Where have I heard this before in college
Uh-huh.
basketball? South Carolina playing Texas, UCLA taking on UConn. You got any thoughts about it? Give me some picks here, kid.
I mean, I want to see Paige win it all. It's
Yeah,
just because my
Paige
daughter's talks.
Bruckers, Paige Bruckers, the star for UConn. Okay,
Yeah,
go
the
ahead.
number two seed, right? They're on the
Yes,
new. Yeah,
yeah,
I yeah I like her. I could see they played really well. I haven't really demoted too much time, but I like them. And
yeah.
then like, you know, the Gamecocks. Like it seems like they got a really good coach and they know what they're
They've
going
won two
against.
out of the last 3 years. This will be 3 out of 4. Dawn Staley is the coach. She has got a machine going there. I'll tell
Yeah,
you that. I like UConn to beat UCLA, even though I'm a big UCLA fan. I like South Carolina. I'm going to go off the rails. I really do think South Carolina is the best team, but I am rooting for UConn. I want to see
yeah.
Paige Bruckers and Sarah Strong continue the incredible legacy that they have. All right.
2016, last time they won the title,
Wow.
UConn,
Wow. That's crazy.
isn't
I
it?
mean, isn't it? It's like Duke. I was looking up the last time they won titles. John Shire was a player.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, what the heck was that? All
The
right,
the the
give me
famous
some
bet that you
picks.
never made. The famous bet
Yeah.
you never made.
Yes, exactly. So give me your picks for the final four, not the finals, because we can do that Monday, but give me your picks. We have Florida playing Auburn, and we don't know the status of Johnny Brome, who's the star for Auburn, and we have Houston taking on Duke. Who's your picks?
I like Florida. I think Florida's going to overpower them. They're too
Yeah,
deep. They're too
yeah,
seasoned. I
yeah.
think that's what's going to take them out. I think Auburn, we're going to see a meltdown of the coach. I wouldn't be
I
surprised if
agree.
he gets, I don't be surprised if he gets kicked out. I think he's going to try to get kicked out to fire up his team, and
Yeah.
it's not going to happen.
He's a
I see,
volatile guy.
he is super volatile.
Bruce Pearl. Bruce
Yeah,
Pearl. Yeah,
Bruce Pearl. Yeah, I see him having a meltdown and not leading the team the way that needs to be led this time. I
right.
think he's a very in your face kind of coach, and he's not. He's just gonna giant. He's turned into
Sure.
the Red Hulk. He's gonna be the Red
The
Hulk, and
Red
so we're
Hulk. Oh,
ah
excellent. That's why Scott's the best. Red Hulk. I never would have put that together. Yes. Oh, I can't wait for the Purple Hulk. The Blue Hulk.
ah
Yeah, it's
ah.
coming. And who do you
And
like in the other game, Scott?
I'm liking Duke. I mean, that's the complete opposite, right? Like rookies
Yep.
and
Yep.
non-season, but I think they're just powerful. I think they hit you on the out. I think he hits you on the E, the D. The defense is going to lock down on them. That's where I'm at. I like
Yeah.
Duke a lot.
I mean, I'm going
Yeah,
with Houston, but Duke is the
yeah,
best team.
it is.
They're tall, they're athletic, and I agree with the Florida pick. I think Florida is going to
Yeah.
stomp Auburn, and I'm gonna go out there. I think what Bruce Pearl did, bringing in Johnny Broom. I know sometimes a coach has to protect an athlete against himself, and you knew you were going to the Final Four. You had a 10
Mhm.
point lead, and why are you bringing that guy in with the broken chicken wing? I mean,
Right.
that's all I'm going to say.
Hey, hey.
Yeah, the way they treat the athletes is terrible sometimes.
When
Just saying.
when they go to win, and you buy the purchase of the T-shirt and
Yes.
the hat and the video,
Yes.
the DVD video,
Yes.
they're going to have that where he suffered through for the big W.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Especially if they win the title. Can you
Yeah.
imagine? Can you imagine that story?
Yeah. Hey, and if you get sponsored by Popeyes, it's even better.
Oh, you're the best. You're the best. All right. If you could, everybody out there, hit like and subscribe. Make sure you get some of Scott's great insights. And I guess we'll see you soon. Okay.
Oh, hey,
Yeah.
Ovechkin's coming before we got to
Yes, he
cut off.
is. Yes, he
Yeah.
is. He's three
But
three away.
Does he have an asterisk because Gretzky had more goals quicker than him, even though it's
No,
going to be like 2 or 3 games?
no,
You
he
don't think
doesn't.
so? All
No,
right.
no.
Uh,
The
all right.
TNT
All
will
right.
tell you they do, but no,
Okay.
nobody
Okay.
else will.
I'm just
Okay.
saying. I'm just saying. Jay's saying that the DEI doesn't work in the NHL. That's all I'm
Well,
saying.
I mean, look, I remember back in the day, Wayne Gretzky was the fastest guy to 50 goals in the season, right?
Yeah.
And then I want to say, and I could be wrong, give me a break. We're going off the rails. That's what we do here. That Mario Lemieux
Yeah.
beat him,
Yeah.
and look, at the end of the day, nobody really, I mean, look, it's an impressive accomplishment. I'm not arguing that. But at the end of the day, it fades away. And then they just look at the record book.
Yeah. I think it'll fade away when he's at like
Yeah.
950 when he finally retires.
Yeah, what's that number? Is 1,000 even in the realm? The way he's
Oh,
rejuvenated this year,
wow.
I didn't think that was even a possibility. But the
Yeah.
way he's come on, especially the second half, it's like literally this guy got the Red Hulk juice and he
Yeah.
got rejuvenated.
Yeah. Let's get that.
The
Get that
Gray
boy.
Hulk. He's the
Get that.
Gray Hulk. He's the Gray Hulk.
I like it. I like it.
All right, everybody, hit like and subscribe, leave some comments, and we'll see you soon.
All right.